What happens to your flash power when you use multiple flashes all together? I'm going to tell you on today's episode of
Ask David Bergman.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Here I am, as always, answering your photography questions. You know what to do by now. You go to askdavidbergman.com, submit your questions right there on the site. I just might pick it to answer here on a future show. Also, I'm so happy to say that we're back, baby. I'm back doing my live concert photography workshops. I've got 25 cities all across the U.S. this fall. You go to shootfromthepit.com, check that out. You spend the day with me at a real live concert. I'm going to teach you everything I know about photographing concerts, sports, and action of any kind. And then that night, you get to shoot the show in the arena with me. It's a super fun time. A bunch of cities are already sold out, so go to shootfromthepit.com. You can get all the information there and sign up. All right, let's get right to today's show. I've got two similar questions that were sent in from different viewers. The first one is from Jon S, and he wants to know, if I use two flashes side by side, does it increase flash power or coverage? And then Ben W asked, what's the difference between using a 300 watt second flash versus using a 600 watt second one at half power? For example, if I shoot most of my flash photography in a small home studio, why would I need a light with more power output than 300 watt seconds, since that'll light most normal sized rooms? Am I missing something? Thanks, John and Ben, for sending in those questions. I really appreciate it. So we're going to talk about flash power. Now, you probably already know that when you start to get serious about lighting with flash, the first thing you want to do is pull that speed light off of the top of your camera. That's because having the flash coming from the exact same direction as your lens is going to really limit your creative options. On-camera flash is simply flat and lifeless. Now, once you get it off of there and have your light hitting your subject from other directions, you can create areas of highlight and shadow that gives your images depth and interest. Also, with the flash on the camera, it's nearly impossible to put it in a big light modifier like a softbox or an umbrella. Now, John, you asked about using two flashes side by side. The first thing to talk about is how do you practically make that happen? Well, there are all kinds of devices to put multiple flashes together, either with or without a light modifier. The simplest one that I use is really expensive. It's right here. And this is called the Flashpoint Shoe Mount Triple Bracket with Swivel Umbrella Holder. Just rolls off the tongue, very easy to remember. But it's really two products in one, because what it does, it allows you to mount up to 3 flashes right on here, and also has a slot to add an umbrella. So what you do is you put this thing on your light stand once the flashes are on it, and then also you can swivel it in any direction, which is super helpful to get the light aimed right where you want it. So then there's also the issue of firing all your flashes at the same time without having any sync issues. Now, if all your gear is by the same company, then it's usually super easy. Canon, for example, has the RT radio transmission system that allows everything to talk to each other. It does get a bit more complicated if you're using multiple flashes from different companies, but I actually did a video about triggering options, and I'll put a link in the description down below so you can check that out. Now, once you're set up with multiple flashes, why the heck do you really want to do that in the first place? Well, here's the thing. When you add more lights, it gives you, what? More light, all right? That seems pretty obvious. But the way it works is that every time you double the amount of light, you get one extra stop of exposure, or essentially brightness. So let's say you have one speed light on full power. I have visual aids here. And that gives you enough light on your subject when you're shooting at f5.6. Now, if you go ahead and add another speed light, also at full power, you've doubled the amount of light, and now you can get f8 on your subject. That's actually one more stop than 5.6. But here's the thing. You remember that you always have to double the amount of light to get one extra stop. So now if you want to get to f11, you have to go from 2 speed lights to 4 speed lights, right? So adding only one more speed light instead of the 2 extra ones is only going to give you 1/2 a stop of extra light at that point, right? And if 4 lights gets you to f11, then you'd need 8 speed lights. No, I don't have 8 with me. I do have them, but I didn't bring them out today. You'd need 8 speed lights at full power to get to f16. It's kind of diminishing returns at that point, so 8 speed lights is a bit much. John, you asked as for increasing your coverage area. Sure, you can aim those lights however you want. If they're pointed in different directions, that's certainly a good way to increase how wide your spread is going to be. The power, however, is only going to change where those lights overlap, where the lights are, touching each other, basically. Not physically, but I mean where the light is hitting. But if they're firing into a single light modifier, then it's going to turn that modifier into one single light source. And it's not going to increase the angle of coverage, only the amount of power that's coming out. Got it? Does that make sense? Okay. And then Ben, you asked about why you'd need more power if you already have enough for the room that you're shooting in. You mentioned a 300 watt second flash at full power versus a 600 watt second one at half power. Now be aware that watt seconds don't always translate exactly into power output. I'm going to put another link down below to a video that I did about exactly that. But if you're using something like the Flashpoint XPLOR 300, then the XPLOR 600 is going to have pretty much double the power since they're the same brand and line. Now, those are, of course, big studio lights and are a lot more powerful than small speed lights, but the concept is really the same. If you shoot your flashes at a lower power setting, it's going to give you some important advantages. First of all, your batteries are going to last longer. Most speedlights take AA batteries, and they don't always last so long. So by using the flash at half power, you're going to get double the amount of flashes before your batteries die. Now, if you can go to quarter power, you're going to get 4 times the number of pops. Of course, I'd always bring an extra set of fresh batteries on a shoot anyway, just in case. But that's me. I hope you do the same thing. And the other reason to shoot at lower power is recycle time. That's the time it takes for your flash to power back up again after you take a picture, so you can go ahead and take another picture. If you're just working by yourself, shooting, let's say, a still life in the studio, it might not be that big a deal to you. But if you're photographing a person on location, you're outside, the sun is setting, things are happening, the difference between waiting 2 seconds between shots and waiting 4 seconds can feel like an eternity. Trust me on this. There could be a lot of awkward pauses in between shooting, and you might really miss some important moments. I mean, if you can get your recycle time down to a second or less, plus knowing that your batteries are going to last all day long, that's 2 less things that you're going to have to worry about, and you can just shoot away. So yeah, Ben, if money isn't an issue, I know money always is, but if money's no object here, I'd rather use a 600 watt second flash at half power instead of 300 at full power. Just like I'd usually prefer to use 2 or more speedlights in a softbox instead of just 1. Having extra power to spare is rarely a bad thing. What do you guys think? Do you push your flash all the way to its limit, or do you use a setup with more power than you need so that you can turn it down? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. Remember, shootfromthepit.com is my live concert photography workshops. Keep those questions coming here at askdavidbergman.com. I really appreciate you doing that. I hope you're already a subscriber to the Adorama YouTube channel. If not, go ahead and click that button down below and hit that bell icon. You'll be sure to get notified as soon as new shows come out. And you know by now, I'm back here every Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern with a brand new show. I'll have a new question next week. I hope to see you right here at Ask David Bergman.